Good evening. Welcome to the town board meeting on January 13th, 2022. At this time, I'd welcome everybody to stand up and we'll salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this point, we always allow visitors to come and speak. We have an early speaking and a later speaking. So whoever would like to come up and address the mic at this point in time, feel free to do so. Please state your name.
My name is Betty Fucci, 36 Killock Avenue in Troy, behind Ted's. Of course, I'm here to talk about the water problem again. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is the last time I was here speaking to the board was in October. About 2 days after that, a bunch of bulldozers arrived outside my house, and they actually made the problem worse than it was. So then on the weekend, I actually had to spend about 5 hours digging out my sub pump drain that had a rock lodged in the end of it, which blocked my sub pump and made it overflow. And then I noticed that my septic field was really wet. And then I discovered that the pipe that I had repositioned away from my septic field that the contractor had put there was now pushed back and was pouring water in my septic field. So, I did laundry the laundromat for 2 months until it dried out. So it got much worse. The other thing that the town did is they scraped along the edge of the property across the street where the water's emptying out. But the pipe empties out 6 feet from the road. They scraped around the edge of the road and made like a moat around my property across the street. So of course it's not touching any of the water that's getting discharged there. So when I came up to talk about it with the water people, because they won't answer my calls. I can only come up here and I have to just wait till I find them. He said, well, you're the one that went to that meeting and had to talk about all your problems. How did that work out for you? And I said, well, you made it a lot worse. He goes, you're the one that went to the meeting. So to me, it feels like retribution. It feels like working with organized crime. I mean, really, I just find that repulsive. Okay, so the second thing I want to mention is that the point that I'm keep trying to make, and I went into looked at the New York State law about it, that people won't accept, is that a water course is a channel that flows and it's easily identifiable by the banks because they're distinctly different from the soil and the land on either side. So it's a defined course. Whether it's active or not, it's a defined waterway. The water that's pouring into my land across the street, and was pouring into my septic system, is surface water that used to just flow down into that lot that they're building on and get soaked up, by the trees and the branches. And it may have done so on the other side. So there was never standing water anywhere. It's a point. And the thing is, it's against the law to direct water by pipe, ditching, or trenches onto a neighbor's property. It's written in the New York State law. So the guy has piped it, directed at me, with plans approved by the town. And the town created a deeper ditch to get the water down along Killock Avenue and going across to my property. It doesn't matter that even though my father put that culvert in, the fact that the town owns the road, they own the culvert, they might, but then they have a responsibility, as the law says, to discharge it safely to an outlet so it doesn't create damage on the property, all of which everyone is ignoring. And I think as a board, it's ridiculous that you're not paying attention to this law. It is written down. I mean, I have it in writing. And it just seems like when I first noticed the problem and called about it, I was told instantly, oh, we have a fix for that. We know exactly, we knew that was going to be a problem. But if I hadn't called and noticed it, nobody, so I knew they knew, and they knew I owned the land because they had that fix ready, but then they're just not doing it. And the fact that I would be scolded at least 7 times during this meeting for coming to this meeting and speaking out is just, it's abhorrent that I don't have the right to come here and air my problems. So that's all for this month, but I'll be back next month.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? That being said, we'll move into the meeting. Let's see. Billy, town clerk, you're not gonna do. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, town clerk report. Be submitting $7,211.01 to the office. Rounded out, it was $4,982 in recycling sales. Let's see, 3,869 sold at the center and $1,073 at the office. We had $1,250 brought in for rental fees. We had 7 new community center reservations and 2 pavilion ones for the summer. On that note, with the community center, what with the new variant going around and some rotten weather we've had, like on last weekend, we have been getting some cancellations on the community center. People really want to use it, but then their guests don't show, or in the case of this last weekend, it was awfully icy, so we had a cancellation. So some of those are refunds. It happens. And we try not to be too brutal on the people either. So that's just so you're aware of it. At $344 dog licenses, we have 11 new residents and 40 that were renewed. $674 in miscellaneous fees. We had $327 brought in for vital statistics and $47 from DEC license sales out of $850 and a $300 peddler's permit for the fellow selling popcorn. And that's about it. The only thing we're getting in the office now for DEC are fishing licenses, these crazy people that want to go out on the ice. We're running along there. We're getting quite a few people, and once it freezes over, we'll even get more. But that's it.
Okay, I hear a motion accepting Bill's report.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Bradley, Water Department.
Good evening. The Water and Sewer Report for December 2021. All ancient history, 2021 now, right? Completed all our water sampling for the month. The Leon project at 660 Hoosick Road, it continues to progress. They are planning on doing blasting the last week, the week of the 24th. So again, if people are interested in being notified, just get me your cell phone number. You'd be contacted by text as to when that would occur and everything else. So I'll throw that out there again. The Hannaford project also continues to progress. The cold weather has kind of helped them dig out the pond closest to Hoosick Road there, because it's helped give them some frozen ground to run the trucks back and forth on. So they've been progressing there, and we'll see and monitor that. And the snow melt may give us an opportunity, with the storm coming, if it comes like they say, to kind of calibrate, the design parameters against what's really going on out in the field, which hopefully it'll either give us a very good confidence that it's going to work, or like many people have said, that it may not work. So we'll just see what happens. We continue to have problems with electronics and stuff in the sewer 6 pump station. We got a panel. I bought a panel through the internet and everything else, set it up, but the factory is having a hard time getting me the right software configuration to make that work with the rest of the equipment. So you keep going back and forth for over a week now, and they say, well, this will fix it, and this will fix it. Well, hopefully we'll have a fix soon. The next thing is the next thing is to send the panel to them, and they'll program it and send it back. So working through those kind of things. And that's just, 8 years and obsolescence. It's, don't buy anything that has proprietary software tied to it or, proprietary equipment. That's the moral of the story,
So can you explain a little bit more? What are the electronics doing?
They are monitoring the pumps. We have variable frequency drives to save energy there. And so the pump levels and everything else are being monitored. It'll turn on the first pump. If for some reason that there's, a high flow rate and it's not catching up, it'll turn a second pump on, turn that one off, alarm levels, et cetera. It's actually more elaborate than it truly needs to be, but that's, I guess, in hindsight, you think that these things are going to last, but I think the next pump station like that's going to be much more dumb and simpler, and still use the VFDs, but not with all the bells and whistles on it. So, and if the weather continues to cooperate, we're going to continue with our meter replacement program because the guys have been able to get out there and get on the boxes and, continue to be able to easily find those, not having to dig through, feet of snow or frost. So that's going along. Well, we received the THM results for last quarter's numbers, and what there is called the long-term annual running annual average. Well, right now we're in the 70 parts per trillion for the THM value. The maximum threshold before we hit violation is 80. So we've been using aeration, the reservoir, the high rates of runoff, the high organic loading, the increased chlorine that we have to use to treat. The organics and the chlorine are in direct proportion to each other. The higher they are, the more THMs will be produced in the water system. So there's methods for handling it. And so I think we got to step up our aeration and stuff so that we don't go in violation and we can keep this, because we also feed post and kill and they're in the same situation because the further it goes along, the more these things, increase in the system. And that's it. Any questions?
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Do I hear a motion accepting Bill's report?
I'll make it.
I hear a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Superintendent of Utilities, Mr. Golden.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
The
evening.
building department report for December of 2021. We had 99 building and property inspections, 365 active building permits, 14 permits issued or renewed, 15 meetings, 2 planning board meetings, 1 zoning board meeting, 0 court cases, 1 fire inspection, 3 follow-up complaint inspections, 1 code call-out, 6 code complaints, 6 code complaints inspected, 0 vacant and abandoned properties identified, 12 planning board projects, and 4 zoning board projects. The year-end monies taken in for planning, zoning, permits, foils, vacants, property fees, pretty much everything we do, $143,944.45. The month over month for December of 2020, we had 19 permits granted for a valuation of $1,183,671.82 with permit fees of $4,810.50. For December of 2021, 14 permits issued, $1,239,965,000 with $7,067.50 in permit fees. So year end, just to close it up for the year, 2020, we had 231 permits in total, $9,530,739.92 in total valuation, and $53,351.06 received in permit fees. Whereas in December or year end of 2021, we had 279 permits issued, $14,286,732.52 in valuation, and $94,108.95 in fees, a fee amount acquired. Just to continue on with the kind of year-end thing, cleaning up the clean energy community that we started down the path of. We have completed 2 of the 4 edicts The energy code enforcement training was completed, as well as the resolution adopting the New York State Unified Solar Permit. We've received 400 reports so far, and left to do is benchmarking. This was initially proposed as a Girl Scout project. Unfortunately, when we took a look at what the criteria was for and what the Girl Scout requirements for the Gold Award, there is a very big emphasis put on sustainability. Unfortunately, this project really didn't fit those needs. So unfortunately, the Gold Scout candidate, is not going to be involved in this. But we're pushing forward as it is, and I work on it when time allows, and we're getting the stuff done. So, any questions, gentlemen?
Great, Chuck. Thanks.
I make a motion to accept Chuck's report.
I'll make it.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Attorney, Mr. Chaffee.
Yeah, this past month I participated in the weekly meetings on the general zoning law update and the planned revisions to regulations pertaining to two-family dwellings and multifamily dwellings. I prepared all the resolutions for and attended the 2021 year-end special meeting of the town board, which was held on December 30, 2021. I attended and participated in the public hearings on introductory local law number 4 of the year 2021 and local law number 5 of the year 2021, which were held by the town board on December 30, 2021. Prepared all the resolutions and attended the 2022 organizational meeting of the town board, which was held on January 3, 2022. Prepared the resolution, which is on the agenda this evening, pertaining to the entering into a temporary agreement for professional engineering services to the planning board while a formal RFP solicitation for those services is pursued. I participated in detailed discussions with the planning board attorney and an applicant pertaining to a pending application for a waiver of subdivision before the planning board, for which the town board granted a variance from a subdivision standard back in 2018. Continued working with the supervisor's office on selecting a new telephone system for the town office. I reviewed updated proposals from potential phone system vendors. Worked with the supervisor's office on various personnel issues. And I performed legal research, provided legal opinions, and prepared legal documents as requested by various town officials and employees.
Thanks, Tom. Do I hear a motion to accept Tom's report?
I'll make it.
I hear a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Angster, Recycling Coordinator.
Good evening. Recycling for the month of December. Blue bags purchased at the center. We had 441 at $3 for $1,323. Purchase from vendors, 600 for $1,530. Purple bags purchased at the center. We had 155 at $2 for $310. Mixed newspapers and chipboards, we had 6.31 tons at $35 a ton for $221. Commingled glass, plastic, and tin, 6.32 tons at $35 a ton for $220. Baled corrugated, 5.41 tons at $121.50 a ton for $637. Metal, light iron, and tin, we had 1.08 tons at $192 a gross ton for $185. Our miscellaneous large and small appliances, we had 11. We had 17 TVs, 64 tires, 3 ACs, 2 propane tanks, 2 dehumidifiers for $716. And that gave us revenues of $5,162. Our general expenses, the Garbage landfill, 13.67 tons at 69.75 a ton plus for $1,249. Electronics recycled, we had 1.79 tons total with 1,040 pounds of CRT handling at 35 cents a pound for $364. Our CFC recovery, we had 19 refrigerators, 28 ACs, 14 dehumidifiers for $225, and that gave us expenses of $1,838. The total amount recycled and landfilled for the month of December was 35.10 tons.
Hey, do you see any inflationary pressure on disposal of items from our vendors that are taking the items?
I'm not sure what you're asking
Is
me.
it costing us any more to dispose of the items that we're taking in?
No. So,
Okay, thanks, Tom.
All set? Do I hear a motion to accept Tom's report?
I'll make it.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sarah, Brunswick Community Library.
Hello.
Hi, how are you
So
tonight?
I heard Bill talking about the fishing licenses, and one of the things on my report is we are collaborating with the Department of Environmental Conservation to do a fishing pole loaning program. So if you know anyone who wants to just get started in fishing, please send them our way. We've got poles we can lend out just the way we lend out books.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm pretty excited about. We had a fabulous holiday celebration last month. We had a wrap party, and we had the local clogging group come in to do a holiday performance for us. We had a holiday music story time, and we had some really lovely holiday themed fundraisers and got some wonderful gifts from our community. They've been really wonderful. Last month, our building was used 2,442 times, and that includes technology use, study room use, people who come in to browse. For book checkouts, we checked out 5,319 books, and that does include both physical books and also our digital books, which we have many of. Programs, we've had a little bit of a dip because of the COVID surge in our area, but we have had, last month, we had 545 people come to programs, which is still pretty decent, everything considered. And that includes a special needs ornament class, our wrap party, our clogging program, STEAM kit story times, and all of our senior and special needs groups. That's about all I have this month. Thank you so much.
That's a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I entertain a motion accepting Sarah's report?
I'll make it.
Can I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Bill, are we ready to get into resolution?
Yeah, big time tonight.
Yeah.
We have one resolution. I think we got most of them done at the end of last year. So this is resolution number 23. Actually, yeah, it is. I forgot we had all of the organizational meeting resolutions. It is resolution number 23 for the year 2022. Resolution accepting proposal and approving and authorizing supervisor to execute temporary agreement for professional engineering services.
I'll offer it. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whoop, no, roll call.
Oh, you doing roll call?
Yep.
Yep. Foregoing resolution offered by Councilman Sullivan and seconded by Councilman Balistrary. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly. Hello, Councilman Sipperly? Yes?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Councilman Christian?
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary?
Aye.
Resolution is adopted. That's it. It's the only resolution.
Correspondence, Bill?
Yeah, actually, there are a couple things. Let's see. We had one from Nancy McCloskey, who is the president of the Sickaway Seniors. addressed to Supervisor Harrington and the town staff workers, that she and her members wanted to thank us for their continuing support and kindness through 2021. Was a brief note on a Christmas card. We had an email from Haley Murphy on Muriel Drive. And this one says, please extend a huge thank you to whoever plows Muriel Drive. Let's see. You ensured the school bus got safely down the road this morning. That was right after the storm on the 5th, I believe it was. I've never had a complaint about the conditions of the road when it snows. We are very lucky to have someone that treats the hills so well during the winter. And she thanks us. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Okay. We have any old business?
Nope.
Any new business?
I do have a new item, Gordy. I was have been approached by a representative from the local Trout Unlimited group, as well as the Rensselaer County Conservation Alliance. They're trying to gauge any interest in public fishing access before they go to their annual get-together with the state that determines trout stocking and fish stocking, where they go, how many that go where. And wondering if there's any interest on our end, or as far as access at the beach or any of our Clark and Kill property, by the ball fields and such. They're trying to get a meeting together, and they wondered if we had any interest, or had any interest in going. I would offer to do that if
Well, sure.
you want
Why
to do
not?
some
You wanna
fact
do it?
finding,
Yeah, that's fine. Why not?
see what it's all about.
What's the downside to that, right?
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, warrants?
Make a motion, we approve for the bills.
Second.
Here, a
Second
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Any visitors who would like to come forward and speak?
Good evening.
Hey,
Happy
Jim.
New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
You too, Jim.
New Year's is a typical time to Jim Tatchik, 387 Brunswick Road. It's time to take stock of things and sort of plan for the next year, what's up. And there are a couple of things I'd like to review the status of a few items and sort of make an idea of like a roadmap to what's going to be done with this in the relatively near future. The first thing is the zoning revision. What is the status of the revision of the zoning right now?
It's ongoing. We're still working on reading every week. Maybe we missed over Christmas, but we've been meeting regularly.
Who's we?
A group that was put together to work on it. I'm at the meetings. The building department is represented at the meetings with either 2 or 3 people. Mr. Gilchrist is present. That's, pardon me? Oh, the supervisor is there too, I'm sorry. And that's about it.
Now, is there like a timeline that there's things are anticipated to get done?
We're making progress on it, and I'm not going to put out a deadline at this point, but we're mindful of the time limitations that we have. So we're working on it diligently. We meet with I should have mentioned that the representative from our consultant, their zoning consultant, the LaBerge Group, is at the meetings too every week. So we are making progress on it, and I think we'll be, you'll be seeing some activity shortly.
Mm-hmm. Now, Phil had mentioned, this is probably almost a year ago, about some sort of public forum for input from the public. Is that in the near future?
I'm not, I haven't discussed that with him I'm not sure how that's going to, the lawyers, we concern ourselves with what's legally required with the public hearings and things like that, and the notices and things. With respect to the other, like an outreach type of thing, we're gonna need his input on that, and, we will be talking about it, but I don't have anything to report on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then something sort of closer related to the zoning. That as a result of the comprehensive plan and the rezoning, McChesney was rezoned as a commercial zone, I think the whole length of it, pretty much so. And it seems to me that, and this has been brought up recently by all sorts of citizens have come in front of the board about with respect to the congestion and planning for Route 7, right? And I think I have to agree with them. I think that the idea that McChesney becoming a commercial area has just been languishing since the comprehensive plan. And I was wondering what's the status of any sort of planning, question, for example, what sort of commercial activities would the town like to see there? I think there has to be some discussion about this, because this is not going to happen on its own. People aren't going to just move in there because on a map it's a commercial zone, okay? And for example, I think it would be a good area for medical practices, okay? But the trouble is, I don't think that it has the infrastructure amenable to that. For example, maybe Bill would know. Bill, is there sewers the entire length of McChesney?
Not the entire length, but for a portion of it, and also up to
Does the ambulance,
ambulance squad is on public sewer.
they're on public sewer, but it doesn't go beyond that.
Any further than that.
Okay, all right. And water,
There's water along
the whole length?
the whole.
Okay. Things like that. It seems to me that, for commercial property, the road isn't wide enough for example, 2 trucks to go by. If they're doing supplies or whatever, if there's a commercial, retail commercial, for example. So I think that the town has to come out with some sort of a get together among whoever decides these sort of things and say, okay, we're open for business. We'd like these kind of things to be established there. Is there any ideas? Do you have any ideas? I don't know. We may have talked about this already. What do you want to see there?
It's already specified in the zoning, Jim.
Excuse me?
Specified in the zoning. Specified in the zoning what's allowed there.
No, not what's allowed, but what would you like to see there? What kind of?
Whatever's
kind of
allowed in
business?
the zoning is what I would like to see there.
Yeah, see, that's pretty vague. That's not, for example, how are you going to, if you had to upgrade the infrastructure there, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to, you're going to try to achieve everybody's needs?
Typically, right? Typically, if somebody comes into that area and needs sewer, the business would extend that sewer if they needed it, right? That's how it works.
Okay, how about the possibility of getting some of these infrastructure, for example, there's federal money coming in, and then putting it toward the infrastructure that you're going to need to make that into a real proper commercial area. Has that been considered?
We've got a lot of uses for that federal infrastructure money already. We've talked about it in many meetings. We've got the dam to do, we got the water tank to look at. The federal money's not,
I know
it's not a big number.
It's not infinite, I realize this.
Yeah, it's not a big number.
Okay. That's
And why would you spend that anyway, Jim, if, a business is going to come in and they're going to, and typically they would extend the sewer or the water.
Yeah, maybe.
No, there's no maybe.
Or maybe they just won't go there, they're not interested if they have to foot the whole bill, okay? But there's the other point about the federal money is what, I'd like to see the town have some sort of a priority list of the projects they're gonna be, might put that money toward. Right? I mean, and then publicize it. Put it in the newsletter. Put it on the website. Yeah, because I don't know, I mean, you said right now the water tower and the dam, what's after that? Right?
What broke after that?
Well, okay, then you might have to go after other grants. I know Councilman Sullivan doesn't like going after grants because it's his money being spent out of another pocket. But,
That's correct.
but
Stand on your own 2 feet, Jim.
Hmm?
Stand on your own 2 feet.
Okay, in that case, refuse all government grants.
Jim, you want to take it to the extreme.
No, if you want to stand on your own 2 feet, then that's a
As best you
logical
can, as
conclusion.
best you can.
Okay,
I'll
all right.
qualify for you, okay?
Okay, then also a roadmap. Chuck answered some questions I was going to ask about the energy smart communities, right? And then I don't know what are the plans for the future of that? Are we going to continue in there, for example, and go for other possibilities of grants?
Chuck, you're working on
Chuck?
that, right?
The clean energy community will allow for a certain amount of points in what you complete towards energy conservation goals. And with those points come the ability to get grant money.
Mhm.
What we are looking at and what I can see happening is a couple of electric car chargers
Okay,
may be a viable use of that. Come out, take the power, come off of the north side of the building, come out and have the last 2 spots over here. That's a possibility. A lot of the upgrades, we really didn't have any low-hanging fruit with that, Jim, because they've done the upgrades to the LEDs, radiant tube heating out in the garages. They've done a lot of stuff through National Grid incentives. So a lot of the stuff was done already. And that's about the only thing I can think of is the car chargers
for the town.
for the town.
For the town,
Yes.
okay. But there are other, for example, there are other buildings within the town. There's a community center.
And that's the other one, the community center, we have not upgraded the lighting yet. So that's the other one. I'm looking
But I mean, it's not
at.
just,
Lighting
yeah,
there.
right. But it's not just lighting, it's just an assessment of all the energy usage, I think,
Yes.
right? It's not,
Energy.
right.
Yep.
So I think these are things that they haven't been done yet. I mean, and
Well, I
it's-
think we're working on them.
Yeah, that's what Chuck's doing.
That's what Chuck is doing.
I understand that, this, Gordy, but there are other more complicated things coming with this, all right? For example, as you know, the automotive industry is going to be pushing electric cars big time, all right? And there's all sorts of, I think we have to tap into some expertise and experience in this, like from NYSERDA. And it's not just enough to, have Chuck doing this in his spare
Yeah,
time.
but I think you're getting a little ahead. I think we'll.
I think you have to think
I'm
ahead.
sure- Well, we're not in a zone where we don't think ahead. We do think ahead, and we work at things, but we can't work on everything all at once. We work methodically. We start and we move forward. We accomplish one project, and we'll move on to a next one. I don't think we're going to stop. I think we're going to continue to move forward with this. Yes, you're right. This is coming. We can't do everything all at once. And that's what we're working on. Chuck is working on the stuff. We work on it all the time to try to accomplish one more step at a time. It's a stepping project. You're right. It's coming. Yes, we will adhere to it. Yes, we will morph with it because that's the way this world turns right now. If you don't morph with it and roll with it, you get left behind. Right?
I agree.
Okay. But you gotta walk before you can run. Right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either.
Well, good. That's good. So we will move forward. That's what I'm trying to say. We will. We're not gonna just stop and not address these things.
Mhm.
But you can't do it all at once. It just doesn't
Well,
happen. I mean, there's, manpower, there's time constraints on things. you know, a little bit at a time.
Well, Gordy, I think that's a good point. But the thing is, if you can take advantage of other things that are established, like in these NYSERDA programs, right? And they have the expertise, they have the manpower.
Well, I'm not, are we not addressing NYSERDA stuff, Chuck? Are we?
No, yeah. Maybe the spare time wasn't, my, attention was on the Hannaford prints, most recently, the past 2 or 3 weeks, I had to review the design of the Hannaford. And now that's completed, I have a bit of a break, I can get back on the clean energy. So,
No, I'm not suggesting that you've been negligent here early on. We've talked about this. It's just, I think it needs more than,
Okay.
I think,
All right.
with somebody who has a bigger picture of this also, right? Right. And then I think generally with the roadmap here, I think what we need, you need to get a little bit better dissemination of information to the people in the town, really do. For example, we could put this into the newsletter. The newsletter comes out 4 times a year, and there's never anything in there. I'll give you an example. Last year was the cannabis legalization wave came through as per state mandate, right? We have friends who live in towns where this was a great controversy because the information was given out to people. I don't think most people in the town here knew what was happening. I think, for example, in the summer last year, if Phil had written a newsletter and said, what do you people think? What do you think? Should we have stores selling cannabis? Should we have in-house consumption of that? I think we would have got a lot more feedback. But as Tom said at the meeting, there was no discussion of this at all. There was no input from the community. You did during in this public hearing.
We had a public hearing. I'm focused, my focus, I'm sorry, but the town attorney is focused on making sure
I'm
that
not
everything's done
saying,
legally.
yeah, I'm not saying that you're negligent or anything. I'm just making a statement reiterating something that you said there. That's all. Okay. But I think using, for example, the comprehensive plan mechanism, there was a really good public feedback. Gordy, you were on the committee, and Mark also. We had, for example, the sessions we had at the school, there were well over 100 people at these, maybe a couple hundred. All right, and there were people who were active and they had good ideas, right? And if you want to get this information to the public and get these ideas back, I really think it's beneficial. Yeah. Good. So other than that, Happy New Year, and maybe we'll have to walk before we run. But while we're running, we're going to stand on our own 2 feet.
There you go.
Good job, Jim.
Thank you.
Gentlemen. I represent the Bringsjords of Brunswick Hills.
Your neighbor, your name?
Alexander.
For the record.
Alexander Bringsjord.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last name.
Bringsjord. B as in boy, R-I-N-G, S as in Sam, J-O-R-D. The previous gentleman that spoke, I just want to make sure he's referring to the development project on Route 2 between the Highlands and Brunswick Hills. Is that correct? Is that the development project? Oh, okay.
No.
I'm asking on behalf of several people if there's any updates or if there's any developments on that development project that you guys are aware of. Because I know they've cleared, right? But it seems like it's come to a screeching halt, which to me is pretty encouraging. But I'm just curious if you guys had any insight into where that is. Okay.
At this point.
Well, that's a good thing. Okay, good. And then I also wanted to ask about the plots. I noticed today the plots between Troy and town office here along 7. It looks like a number are up for sale from the same firm. I'm wondering if there's any known plans to do major commercial between like Mr. Sub and the town office. There's a bunch of plots right here on the left side of 7 for sale. I don't know. I'm just wondering if there's plans for new development there, if anyone's approached anyone at the town about that either. Okay, good. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to come forward and speak? One more time. Would anyone else like to step up, have a speak? Okay. At this point, I'm going to close the meeting.
Make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's see this.
Good, how are you?
Can't see this. Having trouble.
That's what the exchange was.